Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Jonathan Cohn, and today I have my review of the book Beware the Nameless by Zoraida Cordova. This is a middle grade book from the High Republic series, and I, of course, have been reading through the entire High Republic series, all of the adult books, all of the young adult books, and all of the middle grade books, and I'm really just having a blast with it. Not every book works for me, obviously, but a lot of them are really entertaining. And Zoraida Cordova has a pretty good track record for me with Star Wars books. She wrote a YA book, Crash of Fate, which I actually really loved, and then she also wrote Convergence, which was also, I thought, very entertaining. And so this is her middle grade book, Beware the Nameless. And this book is very much a follow-up to Escape from Valo. So Escape from Valo, the premise of this one was that you had Ram Jamaram, and he was one of the few Jedi left on the planet Valo when the whole Stormwall happened, and there were three younglings on the planet that he found, and he worked with them to try to free the planet of the Nile and try to escape. And so that's what the first book, Escape from Valo, is about. And then Beware the Nameless is following them maybe a few months later on, and you're seeing some of the younglings get to grow up a little bit and go on their own missions. And so the basic premise of the book is that Ram has this ship, the Innovator, and that ship is called on a mission to go do some relief for a planet. And on its way there, they get a distress call from this other planet in the area, and they say, all right, well, we'll send a small team from the ship over to that other planet to see if they can help out, but the main crew will go to the main mission. And so Ram, the main character from this book, is on that main mission, but we're following kind of the side mission here, which is we're following Kildo and Tep Tep and their group of characters that are going with them. And so it's very much like following the same characters, but if you're wanting another Ram book, he's not in this one that much. So it's really it's a Kildo and Tep Tep book is the primary characters. And there are a few other characters. There's a Greylark who is a child of a politician who is searching for her lost sister. And then you also have there's another character named Jamil who is just another young Padawan, or not Padawan, a youngling who's along on the journey. And then of course there's Churro. Churro is a Hutt, like a teenage Hutt who is very much into plants and is not following the Hutt way of life. And I actually was skeptical of how they would do a Hutt in a middle grade book, especially considering this is supposed to be a teenage Hutt. We've seen little kid Hutts. We've seen baby Hutts in like the Clone Wars show with the baby Hutt. And then we've of course seen a lot of adult Hutts, but we've never seen like what is the Hutt equivalent of like a teenager. We've never really seen that before. I'm not sure it was something I wanted to see, but it was actually quite entertaining here. Churro, he's very much into like, if he could just be locked away in his like a conservatory dealing with plants and stuff, he'd be the happiest person. He is forced by the Hutt clans to go on this mission with his sister to go do some stuff, and he gets separated from her, and he's on the planet where the stress call came from. And so he gets mixed up with the Jedi here. And the Hutts, there's really kind of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, because the Hutts don't particularly love the Jedi, but they really don't like what the Nile are doing in the Outer Rim, and with the whole Stormwall concept and the occlusion zone. And so it's interesting to see kind of like how the Hutt political system is compared to the Nile, but it, in a way that middle grade, like 10-year-olds would still enjoy this. But as an adult, I was like, well, I'm picking up some of that political stuff. I can see that in here. And so I actually really enjoyed the character of Churro, and I enjoyed all the Hutt's background storyline. The Hutts aren't a big part of it. They're really in the first chapter, and then they're like sprinkled throughout the concepts of them. But it's just very interesting to me. And so I thought Churro actually worked very well in this book. It was also, by the way, interesting that all of these books have like the middle grade books have 3 pictures inside, usually as like visuals to tie into the book, because it's meant for kids. Every picture in this one had to do with the color purple in some way, color pink purple. And so it's kind of interesting that this one had such a specific color scheme, because some of the others I would not say have had the same color schemes as much. But it was, it's a delightful book. It's a lot of fun. It's a fun adventure. It's very much, even though it is a follow-up to Escape from Valo, the plot of this book is a self-contained story. It's just the character journeys are carrying over from the previous one. So it's just a fun, you could pick it up, read it, have a good time. I read it in like a day. Just real quick read. I really enjoyed it. There is one character, the character of Jamil, who I felt it was just too many. Like, there are times where I'm like, okay, you don't need this many new characters. You don't need to introduce a new youngling in every book. And part of me understands, because all of the main characters in the book were originally from Daniel Jose Older and Alyssa Wong, whereas Zoraida Cordova most likely wanted to create her own character with a stamp of, hers on it, so that's why she created the character of Jamil. But she already, in my opinion, had that original character in Churro, and so she didn't need to add another original character. So just felt a little bit crowded in that sense. So I felt like, we don't need more youngling characters. You can give Tep Tep and Kildo the insecurities, and you can give them the struggle and the journey that they gave to Jamil instead. But that's okay. Also, I will say that this book gets surprisingly dark for a middle grade book. There's some heavy themes in this book, specifically around the concept of characters dying. And that doesn't happen in the middle grade books often. But when it does, I'm like, ooh, interesting. They're going there with this. So I really thought that was impressive that they went there, and they handled it in such a deft manner. It's a very deft way of handling it. As a whole, I really enjoyed it. I also really liked reading about the Nameless in this. I think the Nameless are being very well developed now between the manga and now the middle grade, and we have a young adult book coming out soon called Tears of the Nameless, and we've got the adult books which are dealing with the Nameless. I think that they're actually fleshing them out, and it makes sense, the big threat that they pose to the galaxy and to the Jedi, and the way that they deal with them is also very interesting. So, again, I loved the book. I thought it was very delightful, a fun read, really entertaining. Did not have too much bad to say about it. The few nitpicks I have, I think, are on the minor scale. So when comparing it to the other High Republic era books, I think we have 3 tiers of storytelling. In my opinion, the top tier of storytelling is Mission to Disaster and A Test of Courage, which kind of go hand in hand, and I think are the 1-2 punch of excellent middle grade storytelling. These are the top tier of storytelling in the High Republic thus far. And then we have the kind of the middle tier, which is, for me, would be Escape from Valo and Quest for the Hidden City, which are enjoyable titles, but not stellar. They're enjoyable titles. And so this is what I put as the middle tier. And then you have what I think is the bad tier of middle grade books, which I would include Race to Crash Point Tower and Quest for Planet X, which I think are bad books and just not well crafted, not well planned out from the perspective. So when you're looking at the 3 tiers, trying to figure out where the Nameless goes, it would either go for me in the top of the middle tier or the bottom of the top tier, basically. I don't think it's as good as Mission to Disaster or A Test of Courage, but I do think it is much better than Quest for the Hidden City and Escape from Valo. So I will give it an 8 out of 10. I had a blast with it. I thought it was fun. It's a short read, but I still think it's worth it. And if you really want to get an understanding of the full High Republic storyline, I think this is a good addition to it. So this is definitely one that I'll be recommending if you want to get into the middle grades. So if you enjoyed Beware the Nameless, let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. Did you enjoy the Nameless here? Did you enjoy the character of Churro the Hutt? Did you enjoy the Jedi characters? What did you think of Ram's storyline, which was very minor but was still enjoyable? Let me know all your thoughts in the comments section down below. And until next time, I'm Jonathan, and thank you for watching.